So we have a Cabrio, Whirlpool made. See that drum? Yeah, pretty bad shape actually. Your drum is not supposed to shake like that. So yep, see that? Shaking, not good. So removing these screws. Some coins. Make sure you remove anything that's loose, and maybe clean the tub. So this unit was in pretty bad shape. So we're down here, we're taking off the bottom nut, and it took a little bit. It really did. It was so worn that the nut was actually started to recess into the bearing. So I did not have a lot of grip on it. So kept slipping. It was difficult. That particular one. I've done quite a few and never had that much on that. I used the impact, and what I'm doing here, I use another bolt, 7/16, and was tightening, which would cause the nut to back out. I've done it before and it worked. If you're going to do it, get a heavy duty bolt. Make sure you don't snap it. That did not work. It worked other times. This is a cold chisel, and that did the trick. It literally snapped it. Use your monkey wrench and hold it just like I am, and just snap it. Or a, what do you call it, hammer drill would also do the work. Hammer or impact, whatever the... Can't think of the name, but you know what I mean. It vibrates at a super high revolution, and it bangs it off. There it goes. Just be careful you don't hit your tub, but you can bang that out. Should be totally fine. You can't damage it. It's garbage anyways, that shaft. But it might take a couple good whacks before you get it out. and we're free. And while you're there, you can knock out the top bearing. From there, just make sure you angle it so you're actually hitting the bearing. Yeah, that bottom race just fell apart. That unit was in pretty bad shape. Literally just pieces of the bearing just... Make sure you clean your area well with some soap, Dawn. You want to make sure that your area is pretty clean, because you got to remember you're going to be putting adhesive around that top opening, not inside but around it. That's where your seal is going to be. So make sure that is nice and free and clear from grease. All right. You can actually do a pretty good job by cleaning your entire tub. This one wasn't too bad, so it was just, clean around the opening where your sealant will be, and that's a good, at least you have to clean there. You want to make sure you have a good clean area for the adhesive to adhere. It's going to be on the inside, but I like to leave a little bit of bead just on the outside. But make sure it's nice and clean. Can't stress that enough. That's very, very important. Alright guys, so we're here still on this unit. That's your lower bearing. And yeah, that was the outer race. Literally. That's the small one. Okay. See that? Yeah, totally separated. Okay. So everything else popped out. This unit was basically just pretty good shape, pretty bad shape. So the outer race was stuck in there. As you can see, that lip, you don't have a lot of give. So it was a struggle to get it out. So, but she's out. So we're gonna clean that out nicely. Soap, wash it good, and then we're gonna get the bearings inserted. All right, so we're going to insert our bearing, our sleeve, or washer. Now, sometimes I would put a little bit of grease on that sleeve. I like to coat them with grease. I did not in this case, but it's something I normally do. So it keeps everything from getting any corrosion, if any moisture got there. So it does not hurt to coat everything as you slide everybody together with some grease. Now we're going to press this bearing in. That looks good. Yeah, guys, so right now you can coat that shaft as you insert it. You know, just a little bit of grease on the shaft and the bottom. And you will have to tap that shaft in. I started using just a hammer, but you can slightly just put a piece of wood there as a measurement. You know, you don't want to actually damage that on the top, but you're just slightly tapping, so you're not hitting that hard. You want to make sure that shaft is seated properly on the top bearing. So I am using a piece of wood just to make sure it seats or seated. Nice and smooth. Maybe a little more hit. You can always reach your finger or anything thin just to get a feel. That lip on that shaft, you want to make sure it's riding on that bearing. It has to. And if not, what's going to happen is you're going to have to get back up and hammer it in. Otherwise, your thread, your nut at the bottom will not, you won't have enough thread on there to actually complete the job. So just make sure that it is fully seated before you proceed to the bottom or the other side of the machine. Now we're going to, this is a very crucial step. That's the seal I'm opening. Sorry, my angle is going to be, you won't be able to see what I'm doing. Sorry about that. Yeah, not sure why it moved, but whatever. So you want to make sure you fill that seal on the inside, all the cavity with grease. Make sure it's nice and packed, because that's going to be your seal between the shaft and the inner seal. So make sure that's coated well and fill. Maybe I showed it, not sure. And also, instead of actually adding the silicone on in your hand, slide, once you've filled the grease inside the seal, slide it down onto the shaft. I did not do it, but it was a long day and I was tired. So what you want to do, slide it onto the shaft, and then you can start applying your silicone on the outer edge, so you don't have to touch it with your glove or with your hand. And if possible, use gloves.
Billy, I think Billy's a little slow. I think Billy's a little slow. He's just like childish slow. I think so.
Yeah, should be coming back now into view. So I'm getting the silicone ready, getting it open. Yeah, so right here, guys, is where you would just slide that thing down and just let it hover on the shaft, and then you would apply your silicone. So that's silicone. I think they used to have another adhesive, but silicone works great. I think it's better.
So they changed it to.
There you go. You can see the bottom of that seal full of grease. That's what you want. So both the silicone and the grease, they're both seal. So one is your outer tub and one is your inner tub to protect your bearings. And the seal on the outer side also protects your bearings. So you want to make sure that you have a good seal on both of those. And you want to slide. You don't want to rock or shake or twist. Just nice, steady, smooth transition all the way down. And of course, make sure that where your seal is going to be seated, make sure you did a good job in wiping out any grease or anything that will impede the silicone from sealing. That's your seal tool. Push. And it's in. Now you can just use your finger, just wipe a little bit around it. You don't want it to be overhanging too much, but just a little bit. And that gives you a nice seal. It's not a bad repair if it's not too damaged, and you can save some money by doing it. So we're back underneath, and we're going to snug. And if everything is well, you're going to have a lot of thread to tighten your nut. As you can see, what I was saying previously, if you did not tap your shaft down enough, you would not have enough thread to actually tighten that nut. So make sure that you do that before, otherwise you'll be having to go back up there. Now, how much to tighten? Nice, good snug. And it's just make sure it's nice and tight. Some people put Loctite on them. It's not really necessary, but it doesn't hurt. Just a tad bit on there. And make sure you're nice and snug. I will use a hammer and get a nice tap just for good measures.
Once I'm done down here.
There we go. Nice. So we're getting ready to put this stator. in place. Just be careful. It is cumbersome, not heavy, but cumbersome. And just get one screw in at a time. Make sure you get everything nice and aligned. And take your time. You're almost done. This rotor had a lot of rust, so I had to do a little cleaning. In fact, that stator had a lot of rust. And in fact, the rotor had a lot of shaving that I had to clean as well. So that's a wire brush, just cleaning it up before I put it back together. And that's the rotor going on. Now we're dropping the drum in. Taking off my gloves, doing a quick wipe down. Hands are pretty greasy. Never like to leave a customer's machine dirty. Alright guys, wrapping up here. Now I like to finish those, instead of using the power tool, use your manual screwdriver and snug them. Power tool can damage those threads, so take your time. Once they're snugged, you know they're tight. Easy does it. Alright guys, we're pretty much done with this one. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Appreciate it. Nice and smooth. And wait 24 hours. Make sure the silicone is nice and dry before you use your machine. It's always good practice. Thank you.